Okay, we are in Photoshop, and what you're looking at now is a template I use for creating all of my covers. I do my paperbacks in 5x8, and also my ebook covers are 5x8 as well. It's just easier if you have your ebook and your paperback in the same dimensions. It makes it for easier print wrap production. So this is a template that you are welcome to use. If you want it, just let me know, send me a message, and I'll flick this over to you and you can do what you want with it. This is basically my starting ground for everything. So I am doing the cover of A Ghost of a Chance. So you can see that here. Excuse me while I just move my recording doobie flacker that you can't see, but it's in the way on my screen. Excuse me. So with this one, how do I hide? I think I'm just going to hide the guides for a minute. Oh, that didn't work. There we go. If I hide the guides, you can see that I've got this really harsh line just here that I need to blur out. And I probably need to darken up this background so that the text for my blurb reads okay. I'm just going to put the guides back on. So to do that, there's a shortcut, and it's Control and the semicolon button. If you don't know how to put the guides in, let me know. You can just drag them in from the sides. Actually, we're going to do that in a moment anyway, so yeah, I won't go into that too much. Basically, what I'm doing here is I'm preparing the cover before I even use the template. I'm basically preparing the artwork that I'm going to need to make this look good. So what I'm going to do right now is just turn off the typography so I can work on the art. And I'm also just, again, going to turn off the guides so I can see what's going on with this. So all I did on this one, I'm sorry, I've got a lolly in my mouth now, is change the hue and saturation and made it darker. Is just merge all the background together, these background images as one. So what I like to do before I do any of that is actually take a copy. So Control J on your keyboard, background copy. I'm just going to turn it off and I'm going to put it underneath it. So you can't see it, but then if I mess something up, I can always go back to it originally. So I'm going to my background, and what I'm going to do is just highlight all of those layers, and I am going to merge the layers into one. And I just like to rename things as I go. So now I can't adjust the individual parts of the wall, but that's fine, because what I want to do is do probably the smudge tool, I think, and I'm just going to scroll in a little bit undecided on how I want to do this, how I'm going to blend these, because this is sort of going to be in the spine area. So I can get away with it not looking 100%. Just got to get rid of the harsh lines. God, might even be worthwhile doing this all over the back. We shall see. Trouble is, what might look okay when you're scrolled in at this level can look really bad when you pull out like that. What we might try and do is make that big and do all of that. Okay, so freaked Photoshop out a little bit there. I think it's because I'm actually recording as well that's making it a little bit difficult. So I'm just going to be a little bit gentler. I'm just dragging that in because I don't really want to affect it too much behind her. You know, I don't actually mind that. I'm just going to smudge that area. I don't mind that effect at all. I'm going to leave that like that. That's fine. I'm happy with that, because I'm actually going to have my blurb over that, and we're going to have our spine over here. So if I turn my guides back on, I can certainly work with that. All right, so the next step that we want to do is to actually open up our template. So what we're going to do is go File and Open, and go and find where we have saved a template, which it should be in the same folder with the rest of your cover stuff, and it will look like that. And just open it and just do OK. The first thing we want to do on our template is to pull in our guides, and so these guides are going to show us these lines as we're working with our cover art. So I'm just going to scroll in a little bit so that I can see better. So from the side, just click with the I'm just thinking the left side of your mouse and drag, and just release when you get it where you want to go. So I'm not being absolutely 100% precise, but I do it on the cutoff edge and the bleed run, like so you're highlighting the pink bits. Then over here on the spine, I'm doing the edge of the, basically highlighting the pink parts is what we want to be able to see. I hope that makes sense. So we're going to go like this, and then we're going to go like this, because we're going to put our artwork over the top of this. So we need to know where these guides are, where the lines are, because this is specific to our book. And this is why if you make any changes to your book and then reformat it, like produce a new PDF, if your pages are longer, then you're going to have to redo your cover. So just be mindful. I try, once I've done this, because I don't like doing print wraps, I try and keep my page numbers the same. So if I take something out, I try and put something back in. Whoops, not that. And then for the top one, or you don't need the very top of your page, obviously, but that one, just going to hold the space bar and use my mouse to drag. And we're just going to drag the bleed area, and then just to be doubly sure, the cutoff of the book. Okay, if I scroll out, I think I've got them all. That should be all your guides in place. The next thing I want to do, I like to make masks so that I can make sure everything is centered appropriately once I've got it all in here. So to do that, I go to the marquee tool, the rectangular marquee tool. So we're going to click and hold it from this corner here, drag it all the way. It will move with you as you hit the bottom, and I'm dragging it to this point. Let go. So you've got the marching ants. Shift Control N for new layer, and I'm calling it back mask because it's the back of the cover. Do OK. Then what I'm going to do is just fill it with white, like so, and then Control D to deselect, and that will turn off the marching ants. So that is our back mask. We can turn it on and we can turn it off, and it'll become apparent further on in the process why we're doing that. I leave that on while I'm doing the rest of this so I can see where things are. So we're going to do it again, this time for the spine. So clicking on the marquee tool, and we're going to go from this point, click, drag all the way down. I'm going all the way down into the blue part too. Release, Control Shift N, spine mask, do OK. There is a shortcut to fill, but for some reason it's not actually working with my keyboard. So I'm just filling it this way with white. So all I did was use the paint bucket tool, made sure my color was white, and then clicked in the selection, and then Control D to deselect, and you have your spine mask. And then finally we go back to the marquee tool, and so the rest of this blue area is going to be our front mask. Control Shift and N, front mask. Fill that with white, just so that basically I fill it with white so that I don't get confused with what's going on. Control D to deselect, and so now we've got front mask, spine mask, back mask. and we're going to turn all of those off. Okay, at this stage is where I save it as a Photoshop file, because we brought this in as a PDF. So now I'm going to go File, Save As, make sure I'm in the right folder, and I'm going to call it A Ghost of a Chance Print Wrap, and we're going to save it. So now this is a Photoshop file, and we still have the PDF template if we need to go back to it. If we mess something up and have to start all over again, we've always got the template. So on our original, let me just turn off that template. On our original, hide the typography, which we've already done. So the typography is here, so just turn that layer off. Now this shortcut is meant to work, but quite often doesn't for me. I don't know why. Just take that off. I've got something strange blue line there. I'm not sure what that's about. Anyway, what we want to do is convert all of this into one layer for our art layer. Sometimes this works and sometimes it doesn't, and I think again it's because of the actual keyboard that I'm using with my computer. It's not equating to it, so it's fine. I've got workarounds for most things. So what you want to do is hide your typography layer, then use Control, Alt, Shift and E, and it's meant to give you a merged copy of everything that is visible. So if we do, I'll try it, Control, Alt, Shift, E, it does it, but it doesn't give me a copy. It's merged everything all into one, like all my layers have gone, and I can't have that. So I'm going to Control Z to undo that. So what I'm going to do instead is this entire layer, like what I can see, I'm just going to save it as a JPEG file, like an art layer. So save as, and I've already done it. So take it off of Photoshop and I'm just doing it as a JPEG. And I've called it A Ghost of a Chance Art. I've already done that, so I'm just resaving over it because I've updated it. But ordinarily that shortcut is meant to work, and it will give you another layer just here that's all of these layers merged together. So what we want to do then, and what I'll do is I'll drag that in so that it'll look like, hopefully look like what your cover is. I hope I'm explaining this well enough. Drag that in here. And we can see that it's exactly the same as what's underneath it, no different. So let's pretend that's our merged layer. So what you want to do is grab this layer and your typography. So Control click. So you've got these two selected. Then we're going to drag them onto the Ingram template. So drag, hover over here, this will open and just let go. Okay, and then I just like to bring them above that layer, which is this layer here, but beneath the masks. So leaving our typography turned off, we just want to work with our cover art, and we want to, you can see where it's landed, it doesn't fit. Like she's in the middle of the spine, this is all cut off. So basically we want to make it fit. So this is where you start adjusting, and it won't, or ordinarily I've found it doesn't match up 100% with your ebook. So I can see here I've still got room down here. So what I'm doing is Control T to highlight the art layer, and I'm just going to drag this so it's going to make it bigger. And I just need to make sure I've got enough of the ghost and the raccoon and the cat and her. And I've outside my bleed areas on the other side, so I'm happy with that. So I'm just going to hit enter. Then I'm going to turn on, let's just put those the right way around. The typography needs to go on top of the art. So we turn that on, and you can see that's all out of whack as well, which is fine. So this is what we're going to work with. I'm just going to pause for one moment and get a drink. I should say too that I have a notebook where I've written all of this down as I've learned over the years, and you know, tweaked and refined. So because I don't do the wraps like every day, when it comes back to it, I can't remember what to do. So I always have to keep notes. Anyway, we are going to adjust our typography layer. So I'm just going to do a Control T on that. Oh, I've got a very sluggish, there we go. Photoshop is being really sluggish. Like I said, I think it's because I'm recording this, but anywho, so I'm just going to drag that in. Now, see how I thought, it kind of looks centered to me, but the best way to see if you've centered something is to use the masks. So Control and click on front mask, so you got the ants, and then up here you'll see this alignment. It goes align horizontal centers. Click on that, and now your front cover should be centered. I've just noticed something. Control D to get rid of the ants. I've just seen something that this on my art is not going to show up well, so I'm just going to go back. It might actually get printed, so I'm just Control T, and I'm using the arrows to just nudge this across. There we go. So it's just keep an eye, because I know I've got loads of space this end, but I'm trying to keep as much of Bandit and that on there as I can. So quite happy with that, because the Y part of my name there should be fine, but this needs to go up just a smidge, because that's probably going to cut that off. So I'm just going to click on a ghost, and I'm just going to nudge it up just a smidge, because we don't have the margins in the paperback like we do on the ebook. Just bump that up, because we don't want that accidentally cut off. Okay, so the front cover's looking pretty good. Now we've got to let's do the spine. Seems to be in logical order. So what I like to do to keep everything kind of organized at this point is hold down Shift and select all of these typographies. Control G to group them, and this is going to be the front cover typography, because we're going to have three lots. We're going to have the front cover, we're going to have the spine, and we're going to have the back. So to do the spine, what we're going to do is we're not going to have the series name on the spine, but I'm going to have the book title and my author name. So we'll start with my author name, and what we're going to do is go to Control J to duplicate it. Control T to highlight that duplicate, right click, rotate, I can't remember, clockwise I think, yes, clockwise, 90 degrees clockwise. Then we are going to drag it to the bottom. And I'm just going to use these arrows to resize it and get it within those guidelines as best I can. Might need to just move that over a bit, because I've got a swirly name. Kind of going to leave that sitting there. And I noticed, or one of the things on my other books is my name sits up about level with here, but A Ghost of a Chance is a reasonably long title. So what I'm going to do over on the right hand side over here is just drag that to the bottom, and we're going to do Control G and put that in a group, and we're going to call it Spine. I have to do this to keep myself organized. If I don't, then it turns chaotic. Sorry, I'm just getting my coffee. Turns chaotic and things can get really muddly, and it's obviously I'm a little bit OCD, so it's just how I do it. You don't have to do it this way, it's fine. So my title is broken up into two lots of text here, but what I'm going to do is just copy one of them. So again, highlighting that, like just sitting on that layer, Control J and Control T, right click on it, and we're going to rotate 90 degrees clockwise. We're going to drag it over here. That's not going to line up properly yet, so what I'm going to do is I'm just double clicking and a ghost of a chance. So I've just added in those words. So I'm just going to click off of that so I don't accidentally put a space somewhere else. Control T again. We can scroll out a bit if you've lost sight of it and just drag our angles in. Drag it in because we need it to fit within our guidelines. Now what I might need to do is, because I'm using this in lowercase, the L, the F, the H is not going to print right. So I'm making an executive decision and I'm going to change it to all caps. And I'm just going to type it. Okay. So I've just retyped that in all caps, and notice how it's kept all of the font treatments, which is fantastic. So Control T again, and let's roll back in, hold down the the space bar, and then you can use a little handy grabby thing to adjust your screen so you can actually see what you're doing. Okay, now that kind of looks like it's going to fit, and I can see that it's not actually aligned. So I'm just going to hit enter like that. But while I'm on this line of text, hang on, let me just drag it down into the spine area so that we don't make any mistakes. While I'm on that line, I'm going up so I can see these, hold down Control, click on the spine thumbnail so we get the marching ants. Then we're going up here and we're doing the alignment again. So align horizontal centers, click, and it will move that over. And I can see that I've just got the N in. While those marching ants are still doing those things, I'm going down to my author name and doing the same thing, centering it. So my author name, I think I'll actually make that smaller. I like to go all of my books, like the spine treatment, exactly the same, but like sometimes you just can't. And I just need to double check to see if I actually I'll do that. I'm trying to look on my bookcase in case you're wondering what I'm doing. I'll open up one of my previous ones and see if I put the book number on there as well. Print wrap. I do not. Oh, I don't even have the series name on that. That's a mistake. I'll have to fix that. That's fine though. I don't have the book number on there. So I think I'm going to make both of those on the spine. Like a lot of this is just adjustment with your eye, like what you think looks okay. So I'm just going to make my name smaller and just drag it as best I can. And obviously I don't want it too near the bottom. And I'm doing the same with A Ghost of a Chance, like this title. I'm just tweaking now, so you can just continue to tweak away. And because I've moved them around and changed their sizes, I'm just going to go and do the alignment again, holding down Control, clicking on spine and center, and same with the author name and center and Control D to deselect. All right, I'm going to save it at this point just in case anything terrible happens and we lose our work. Okay, so front and spine, cooking with gas, and they're both readable because I've sort of blurred that background a little bit, so that's, you know, workable. Next, we're going to do the back. how did I do that spine? I'm just seeing what I've done for my other books because it's been such a while that I can't remember. So I just did it like so. All right, that's cool. So there are a couple of options here. I want to show you one that I've done the other day. I had some problems with one of my clients. Not my client. For some reason, when I saved the PDF for the print wrap, it dropped off one of the titles, the words from the title, and it was really weird. And we had to redo it several times for it to finally upload. She was using KDP. But I just quickly want to show you an option for Paul. I hope it's okay that I'm showing your cover. Let me find which one worked. This one worked. An option that we do for the back, when you've got a busy background where print's not going to show up very well, is we do a box that's slightly transparent. Paula's covers are like bright and colourful, and so I chose the colours of the box and a border to match. So you can always put a box on there, and then the barcode will automatically generate down here, and you can put something there if you want to or not. I tend not to. I keep mine really simple. But I just wanted to show that as an option since I'm not drawing a box today. But I think I've left room for a box in the template. So what we are going to do is this time I'm going to copy the Ghost of a Chance, this version. I'm just going to go Control J, Control T, right click it, rotate it counterclockwise, and I'm going to drag it over, and that's going to be the title on our back cover. And let's just drag, oops, sorry, on the wrong bit. Let's just drag that to the bottom of that. Oops, it landed in the spine box. I don't want it in the spine box. So I'm just dragging it out again. There we go. Sorry, I know I'm being pedantic. Front. Okay, now Control G, back. And this is the back of the book. So what we need next is a text box to put our blurb in. So over here, text, and I'm just going to draw roughly, just eyeballing it like so. I don't know why that went in that direction. That's really interesting. So what we're going to do is, it's not going to be, there we go. I don't know why that did that. That was really odd. Now we're not going to have it in fancy font like this. I have a list here. A good font for the back is Palatino. I think that's how you say it. So I'm just going to go and find that. I'm just doing, oops, regular. A good size is about, let's go 11. Depending on how big, how much of a blurb you've got. So you might need to go small. And then I'm going to add a style effect. I'm going to add a very small drop shadow to it. So over here, you highlight it on your text layer and right click, blending options, and we want a drop shadow. This one, that's better. Multiply 53%, 7, 9, 13. Okay. That just helps with visibility a little bit. Now, I need to go and get my blurb, which again, I just rip off of Amazon. Look, it's already still Just double clicking, Control V, paste that in. So now I'm just going to go and do a little bit of my formatting. So I'm making that one bold. And this bottom part is going to be italic. And I wanted to untick the hyphenate. All right, I need to highlight all of the text first and then untick hyphenate. Untick. That's better. So don't hyphenate it. Okay. Now, I can already kind of see that that is probably going to interfere with the barcode. And so a way to check with that is just do Control J to repeat the bottom layer, drag it up on top of everything else, and then just drag down the opacity so you can see. So we can see roughly everything's where it should be, only that barcode's interfering, and I knew it was going to be that way. I just wanted to show you what it looked like. So we've got all this room up the top, so that's fine. So I'm going to drag, oops, not that one. Make sure you're on the right level. Oh, you're doing it again. Why are you doing this? All right. It's not letting me select that text, so I'm just going to do Control T. Now I'm going to drag it up. I'm probably just going to align it about there. Then I'm going to get the blurb, Control T, drag it up. I'm just eyeballing it at this point. Now I can see that I've got loads of room with the barcode. Why can't I remember that word today? The barcode. So then all I have to do is actually turn off that top layer and we are good to go. Now at this point, I'm going to save it with another file name because what happens next is going to mush it all in to one layer. So I'm going to go File. This is probably overkill, and I know a lot of designers don't do this part, but I do because I'm just a bit meh about it. So what I'm going to add in here is CMYK because we are now going to be changing the color profile to a print profile. So I'm just going to save that. Oh, do you know what we didn't do? We didn't center this back stuff. Sorry, you're probably screaming at me and I'm not listening to you. So we're already on that layer. So Control, click on the back mask and center it. It wasn't far off. Change to that layer and center it. Oh. So you start to trust your eyeballs after a while. Okay, so now highlight your active layers so we can just mush all this typography into one. So highlight all our layers. Then we go Edit, Convert to Profile, and we are using this profile, Working CMYK, okay? Because that's the profile it needs to be for print. Ordinarily, when we're just doing stuff, it's RGB for our screens, for online stuff, but yeah, for print, it's CMYK. So just do OK. And now you see it's all just one layer. You cannot move or change anything. So then we're going to save it as a PDF. So File, Save As. Has to be a PDF for uploading. So change this Photoshop part. So drop kick. Click the drop down and do Photoshop PDF. and click on save. And it's going to ask you a question. Now, I ordinarily choose this one, PDF 2001 basically, but I did a high quality print last time. We were having those problems with Paula's cover, and this one worked. So I thought I'm going to try it for myself. I'm going to try it with the high quality print and save PDF. And just do yes. And nothing happens because it's just gone to wherever you were saving it. So if I just go to my covers, here it is. Here it's still saving because it's in the cloud. Let's see if I can open it. There it is. So that is what we are going to be uploading to Ingram Spark, which we'll do in the next video. I'll see you then.